esta persona tratando de ayudar a esta muchacha. Ojalá y sepan. Y va otra persona ahí mismo.
No hay nadie en el carro, ¿eh?
Good evening, this is MNews, bringing you the latest updates from the United States. Tonight, we turn to California, where unprecedented floods have unleashed chaos across multiple regions. Highways have turned into rivers, vehicles swept away, and entire neighborhoods submerged. Emergency responders are racing against time to rescue thousands stranded by the surging waters. What we are witnessing is not just another storm, but a disaster that has crippled one of the world's largest economies and put millions at risk. Let us take you through the unfolding scenes of destruction.
Pobres doñas, ya la libraron, ya les ayudaron ahí a salir a una orilla.
Highways in California, normally crowded with traffic, are now completely submerged under muddy waters. The powerful currents have turned what should be a safe transportation network into a raging river. Asphalt is invisible, guardrails are barely above the waterline, and visibility is low as torrents surge in every direction. For commuters caught in this storm, the morning drive turned into a fight for survival. Authorities describe this as one of the worst transportation collapses in decades.
Well, I don't have any service. Hey, move your head. Fuck you, I'm videoing.
As the waters continued to rise, vehicles were no match for the current. Cars, vans, and even pickup trucks were seen drifting downstream like toys in a bathtub. Many drivers abandoned their vehicles to seek higher ground, while others were trapped until rescue teams intervened. Images show cars wedged against guardrails and stacked against one another, a sobering reminder of the sheer force of nature. Insurance experts warn that the economic toll on motorists alone could reach hundreds of millions of dollars. The devastation was not limited to highways. Residential areas bore the brunt of the flooding. In several communities, streets disappeared beneath chest-high water. Homes were inundated, with water levels reaching windows and doors. Families were forced to climb to rooftops, waving desperately for help. Scenes of parents holding children tightly on top of homes and garages capture the human side of this crisis. For many, everything they owned was lost in a matter of hours. Relief organizations have already begun mobilizing shelters for displaced residents. Amid the chaos, California's first responders sprang into action. Firefighters, police, and volunteers launched rescue missions using inflatable boats and helicopters. Elderly residents were carried out on stretchers, children ferried to safety in lifeboats. Emergency crews worked tirelessly, sometimes against violent currents, to reach those stranded. Local authorities described the rescue operations as heroic but overwhelming, with demand far exceeding available resources. The California National Guard has since been deployed to support the relief effort, signaling the scale of the disaster. The floods have left lasting scars on California's infrastructure. Overpasses and bridges, once secure, now show visible cracks. In several locations, entire road sections were washed away, leaving deep craters where cars once traveled. Engineers warn that the damage could take months, even years, to fully repair. Public transportation has ground to a halt, with buses and trains suspended across flood-hit regions. Experts stress that this disaster is a test of California's resilience, both structurally and financially. Aerial footage paints an even clearer picture of the scale of devastation. Drone shots reveal vast stretches of highway completely consumed by floodwaters, stretching for miles. Hundreds of vehicles appear abandoned, their drivers forced to flee in panic. From above, California's transportation arteries look less like roads and more like muddy rivers carving through the landscape. The disruption has crippled the movement of goods and emergency supplies, worsening the crisis for those trapped in flooded neighborhoods. The floodwaters have not spared California's urban centers. Downtown districts, shopping malls, and office complexes stand in knee-deep water. Parking lots have disappeared beneath waves of muddy runoff. For business owners, the disaster poses another heavy blow, following years of economic challenges from wildfires and the pandemic. Many worry that their livelihoods may not recover, as property damage is compounded by loss of electricity, telecommunications, and access roads. As panic spread, law enforcement and emergency managers scrambled to restore order. Police established roadblocks to redirect traffic away from collapsed highways. Sirens echoed across neighborhoods as emergency vehicles rushed to assist residents in distress. Coordination centers were set up to streamline rescues and ensure resources reached the most vulnerable. Despite these efforts, authorities admitted that the scale of the flooding has outpaced their response capacity, making federal aid essential in the days ahead. One of the gravest dangers during flooding comes from compromised power lines. Images reveal toppled utility poles leaning dangerously close to rising water. Residents report blackouts, with entire blocks plunged into darkness. Officials warn of the risk of electrocution, urging people to stay clear of submerged streets. Power companies are racing to shut down grids in flooded areas, but restoring safe electricity may take weeks. The flooding is compounded by rivers that have burst their banks. Once narrow waterways now stretch across fields, highways, and neighborhoods, swallowing everything in their path. Debris, from furniture to fallen trees, floats downstream in the relentless current. Bridges connecting rural communities have been swept away, isolating thousands. Hydrologists warn that with more rain forecasted, the situation could worsen before it improves. Perhaps the most heartbreaking images are of residents stranded on rooftops, clinging to the last refuge above the floodwaters. Families, with children and pets, wave desperately toward helicopters and rescue drones overhead. Many hold emergency bags, a sign of their preparation, but even the most prepared could not withstand the force of this catastrophe. Relief teams are prioritizing these cases, yet officials admit that hundreds remain cut off, waiting for rescue. In California tonight, millions watch as their state faces one of the most destructive floods in recent history. Highways have turned into rivers, homes lie in ruin, and lives hang in the balance. While emergency responders fight valiantly, the scale of the disaster demands long-term recovery and a national commitment to rebuilding. From stranded families to crumbling infrastructure, the road ahead will be long and difficult. This is MNews, and we will continue to bring you updates as California battles this unprecedented crisis. If you find the video helpful, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you for watching.